Hello, so this is the pencil case. It has the zip a little way down from the top and it's got a little tab at each end as well. And if I open it up, inside you can see, so it's not lined, so I wanted a way of the seams looking nice and tidy, so there's no raw edge here, which you'd usually get when you stitch some fabric together. And that's because I've done what's called a French seam. Can you see that extra row there, stitched there? That gives it a nice tidy finish. Okay, let me show you how to do it. So first of all, you want to put your zip right side down. Let's tilt that a bit. There we are. Your zip right side down on the right side of your fabric. So that means the teeth of the zip. The teeth of the zip are against the pretty side of the fabric. Pin along that edge, and then you need a foot that looks like that. That's a zip foot, and that'll help you sew the zip in place. So you click that onto the sewing machine, and then line up the edge of that silver foot with the teeth of your zip and stitch that into place. Like that. There we go. So now you've got one side of the zip attached. Cut those ends off. And then you want to fold the fabric. So there's the right side. Fold the fabric to the other side of the zip, like that. So it's lining up with the right side of the zip again. Pop a couple of pins to hold that in place, like that. There. So that's stitched across, then you're going to stitch across there where the pins are. Okay, so pop it back under your zip foot and sew through your fabric and the tape at the edge of the zip tape. So you're stitching that onto your fabric. There we go. Trim those bits off again. And what you need to do is top stitch the zip. So that means sewing close to, in a line across here, close to where the zip and the fabric meet. So that, you know, if you're trying to zip your coat up and the fabric gets caught in the zip, we don't want that to happen. So that's how we're going to avoid it. I'm just going to swap my... Okay, so your zip foot can go on either side of the sewing machine, and now I've moved it to this side because it's easier then to line up. So I'm lining up the silver foot with the edge of the fabric, and then we'll stitch across there. And this is just to hold that fabric away from the zip so it doesn't get tangled. Threads again, and then we'll do the same on the other side. Line it up, the silver foot with the edge of the fabric, and then stitch across again. Right, so that's the zip sewn into place. Like that. So you can see there's some stitches each side of the zip, the top stitching. Right, we'll move that out of the way. What we need to do now is fold it so that the top edge is, the zip is 5 centimetres down from the top edge. So let's fold that a little bit more. There we go, let's have a look. Yep, that's good. So you could use a tape measure to measure this, or a ruler. I've got this little sewing gauge, which is quite handy. So I'm just going to put a couple of pins on that top edge to hold it. There, like that. And then I need the presser foot. There we go. So we're going to swap now to the ordinary foot, so we don't need that special zip foot anymore. There we go. Click that into place. Okay. Now then, we've got a little bit of bias binding. And this makes the tab that you can see here on the edge of the pencil case. So we fold it in half, wrong sides together, and line it up with the edge there like that. And I'm just going to put a pin to hold it in place. And the same at the other side. Fold it wrong sides together and line it up. There we go, with the edge of the fabric over the edge of the zip. So each little piece of bias binding is 8 centimetres long. So we've got something like that. And now we're going to stitch down the side seam. So we've got our ordinary foot back on, and we're going to use the edge of the silver foot against the edge of the fabric. Do a few reverse stitches just to make it super secure. And take that pin out of the way. Go slowly over the teeth. It will sew over the teeth of the zip, but just go slowly to the edge, and a few more reverse stitches. There we go, that's that side done. Trim those threads up. And then the same on the other side. Line up the edge of the fabric with the edge of the silver foot. A few backward stitches to start off. Move that pin out of the way. Slowly over the teeth. Down to the bottom. A few more reverse stitches. There we go, that's done. And take that out. There we go. So we'll take those pins out of our way. There we go. Now I'm going to trim these side seams. We're going to reduce the seam allowance, that's the bit between the stitches and the edge of the fabric. We're going to reduce the seam allowance by half. So, and then cut across the, there we go, teeth of the zip. There we are, so I've cut that bit off. And the same at the other side. There we are, so it's fairly tricky cutting through the zip, but it will do it. Just watch your fingers. Okay, so now it looks like this, and we want to hide these raw edges. So open up your zip and turn it through. And use your finger to poke into the corners so that you get nice sharp corners like that. It's tempting to use the scissors, but don't, because if the point of the scissors go through, then you've spoilt your pencil case. There we are. So we'll put the zip pull in the middle so it's out of the way, because what we're going to do now is that extra row of stitches just across here. Flatten that down, line up the foot again, and again do a few backward stitches just to hold it steady. There we are, carefully over the teeth of the zip. There. A few backward stitches at the end, and then trim that. Same at the other side. Line it up again. A few backward stitches across to this side. Now on this side, just hold those teeth together as you're going to sew over them, because they're gaping a bit like that because they're not, the zip, this side of the zip isn't closed. Sit them, feed them through. There we go. And then with a few more reverses. There we go. Snip those threads, and because we opened the zip halfway, we can turn it through. But there's our nice French seam, so you've got a nice tidy look inside, and as you turn it through, right side out, da, da, da. There we go. So you've got nice tidy seams because you've used the French seam. You've put a zip in as well, and you've used the tabs for a little bit of detail. So that makes a lovely pencil case.